Hi, this is a comment response to your video, Greg. Scouty had dropped the link, and I revisited your channel and looked at this video, and I thought it really interesting. So I was going to start my response video by reading out of Wittgenstein's Philosophical Investigations 102, 103, and 556 and 557. 102, the strict and clear rules of the logical structure of propositions appears to us as something in the background, hidden in the medium of the understanding. I already see them, even though through a medium, for I understand the propositional sign. I use it to say something. The ideal, as we think of it, is unshakable. You can never get outside of it. You must always turn back. There is no outside. Outside you cannot breathe. Where does this idea come from? Is it like a pair of glasses on our nose through which we see whatever we look at? It never occurs to us to take them off. 556. Imagine a language with two different words for negation, X and Y. Doubling X yields an affirmative. Doubling Y, a strengthened negative. For the rest of the two words are used alike. Now have X and Y the same meaning in sentences where they occur without being repeated. We give various answers to this. A, the two words have different uses, so they have different meanings, but sentences in which they occur without being repeated and which for the rest of the same make the same sense. B, the two words have the same function in language games except for this one difference, which is just a trivial convention. The use of the two words is taught in the same way, by means of the same actions, gestures, pictures, and so on. And in explanations of the words, the difference in the ways they are used is appended as something incidental, as one of the capricious features of language. For this reason, we shall say that X and Y have the same meaning. C, we connect different images with two negatives. X, as it were, turns the sense through 180 degrees, and that is why two such negatives restore the sense to its former position. Y is like the shake of a head, and just as one does not annul a shake of a head by shaking it again, so also one doesn't cancel one Y by a second shake of the head. And so even if, practically speaking, sentences with the two signs of negation come to the same thing, still X and Y express different ideas. 557. Now when I uttered the double negation, what constituted my meaning it as a strengthened negative and not as an affirmative? There is no answer running. It consisted in the fact that such and such. In certain circumstances, instead of saying this duplication is meant as a strengthening, I can pronounce it as a strengthening. Instead of saying the duplication of the negative is meant to cancel it, I can, for example, put brackets. Yes, but after all these brackets may themselves have various roles, for who says that they are to be taken as brackets? No one does. And haven't you explained your own conception in turn by means of words? The meaning of the brackets lies in the technique of applying them. The question is, under what circumstance does it make sense to say, I meant such and such? And what circumstance justify me in saying he meant such and such? I read those because the conventional use of atheism has a couple different meanings, and in the conventional sense that you're trying to deny and reduce to propositional logic and set theory, as you put it. So basically, is fine. Meaning, I'm going to give you over that any not X says nothing of X, and I'll give that over to you entire. But there's a conventional read of the of what atheism, the a suffix in theism, means, that's not dissimilar to saying racist. The suffix racist means that I hold a bias against race, where humanist means that I hold a positive bias towards humans. And so I'm going to give over your read entire, but the thing about the sets themselves and how it is you're doing this, you've summed up some of the comments and the responses as silly talk, and you haven't reframed yourself to look at how it is lack. The word lack does not lack meaning, that you can find meaning. What it was it that these particular theists meant when they were saying atheist means lack. And then you'll go on to say, well, in propositional logic there are nots, but in set theory there are not nots. But okay, but I'll say that you're using, first of all, you're using Zermelo's set theory, not Morrissey's set theory, or innumerable set theories, but and you're just going to kind of throw it all together as to one theory, right? And you're one general constituted, accepted, canonized notion of what set theory is. Now, negation in set theory could be said to be, there may not be knots in set theory, but there is subtraction in set theories. And this is expressed in power sets. And in power sets, you have all the elements of the set and all the combinations of all subsets as sets themselves, and each one of these sets has to have an empty set. Now, if you don't have an empty set, then you don't have a universe in which to pose what is referred to in the type of set theory you're using as complements. Now, a complement would be to say that one set subtracted from another set is equivalent to that same first set's intersection with the complement of the second set. Okay, and so let's say we have one set, a power set, that constitutes, it's for incarnality, it's got sugar, God, horns, and me. And the complement of sugar, God, horns, and me as the main cumulative maximum carnality of 4 has a complementary relationship to sugar and horns, and that complementary relationship is me and God. Now, I can adjust these such that the complementary relationship to sugar, me, horns, and God is God and sugar, leaving the set relative to that complement as me and God. Okay, now because I'm referencing complements in this particular fashion, I'm doing so to show that in this particular power set, God being used as an object, we can say the complement of this set relative to another within this power set yields another power set. We might call this a. Well, it looks like I have to use another video.